Have you ever felt like no matter what you tried, you will always be the ugly looking guy? So you were told, looks don't really matter, it's all personality. Because that is what I was told my entire life. But that is simply not the truth. I learned that it was 3 mistakes, not my genetics, that were ruining my looks. Fixing these 3 mistakes completely transformed my looks. And all of a sudden, I didn't have any problems attracting girls. I wonder why. That's why in this video I will walk you through the 3 biggest mistakes that you're currently doing, which is destroying your looks so you can finally become attractive. So let's start off with mistake number 1, which is water retention. So basically water retention is just that you hold on to a lot of water, especially in your facial area. And the reason for why this was so bad was because it was hiding my good features that I actually had. So we all have a good bone structure behind all our water weight or all our fats in our face. So that is, for example, hollow cheeks, it is a good jawline, all of these different things. And that is exactly why that every single time that I had been in a sauna or I have just been doing some hard cardio where I have really been sweating a lot, I would actually start to get a little bit of a hollow cheeks and a good jawline because all my puffiness was having sweated out, my water retention. But that is just a short-term solution. So now I want to tell you about the long-term solution. Basically the action steps that we can do in order for us to get rid of all this puffiness and water that we have in our face. So the action step that I want you to do is that you want to minimize the amount of carbohydrates that you are currently eating. Because as the name implies, the more carbs that we are eating, the more water it will hold onto. That's basically what the carbs does. So we want to reduce the amount. We don't want to completely cut it out because we still need carbs for things like energy and etc. So the next time that you're going to eat, try to split it up so 70% of your entire meal is going to be protein rich. So that means like things like meat, you eat 70% of that. Then maybe you can have 20% of carbs and then the rest can be things like fruit, vegetables, whatever else you want. But now it gets a little bit complicated because there's some people who then say, wait, if it's water weight that I just have in my face, then I just don't need to drink water, because if I don't drink water, obviously I won't get any water retention in my face. And I can guess why that you would think that, but there's a problem with this because our body is too smart for this action. So if you completely dehydrate yourself, your body will actually take the water from your body here and get it up to your face so it hydrates itself. It's kind of just a safe mechanism your body has. So you can't really trick it that way. So what we actually want to do is actually drink more water than we usually do so we can hydrate ourselves so it doesn't take any water from our body and up to our face. And the last thing and the most important thing that we can do for water retention, getting rid of it, is to balance what is called sodium versus potassium. So sodium is things like salt and processed food. Basically salt, we still want to have a little bit of salt, but we want to minimize the amount if we want to debloat our face, get rid of our puffiness. However, you want to completely cut out the processed food. There's no reason to take that in. It will fuck up your skin, your gut health, and all of those things. That can also be a reason for why you maybe have acne. But then we have the potassium. And potassium is things like we have in bananas, spinach, avocados, oranges, and I don't remember what else, but you can just search it up, potassium on the internet, foods with potassium, and then you can see what has a lot of it. You just want to maximize the potassium because the more potassium that we have and the lower amount of sodium that we have, we will balance out our electrolytes, and that will actually make us get rid of this water retention, explained in simple terms. And when our water weight gets away from our face, we will start to really lean down our face so we can become really aesthetic looking, so we can get the hollow cheeks, a good jawline from the side profile, so we don't have any skin hanging off here. There's also a different reason for that, but I can cover that in another video if you want me to cover that. But let's say that you have any other insecurities that I haven't been walking through in this video. Then I literally have a program where I go on one-to-one calls with just you. So we can literally save so much of your time. So I can just take one look at you and I can say specifically what you need to improve on. Maybe you have a deep bloated face but you didn't know. Maybe you have a lot of acne that you want to remove. Maybe you have maximizing your hairstyle, so I can help you with that. It will just save you so much time and energy because you don't have to do all the researching yourself, which took me months. So if you're interested in this, then go have a look at the top link of the description. All the details are there. Now let's go to mistake number 2, which is putting more pressure on one side of your face. So some examples of where you may do this is, first of all, when you are sleeping. So usually a lot of people actually sleep on only one of their sides. So basically doing this over enough time will first of all make all the water in your face. Remember that we talked about we have water in our face, but we of course also have blood and all this, right? So if we lay our head to the side and only on that side for a long time, and we get used to sleeping on that side, we will actually put more pressure on that side, which will then over enough time actually makes us asymmetrical, because obviously one of our bones will get moved around and our muscles will maybe be higher or lower than the other one. Which is usually why if some people have problems with asymmetrical faces, it's usually because they have been sleeping on one of their sides. Another example could be that you are just usually laying your hand like this and then you're resting your hand. Maybe it could be in school, or maybe if you're working, that you always have a specific hand resting on your hand like this. These things will literally make you more asymmetrical over time. But there's just a simple fix to this, and the action step that I just want you to do is just from now on, when you're for example sleeping, you will just lie on the back. If you absolutely cannot lie on your back, maybe you have some problem with breathing through your nose properly, or I don't know, it could be any problems, right? Then you just simply want to switch sides every like 5 to 10 minutes. Or if you wake up in the middle of your night, then you just want to remember to switch sides. But I think this is more complicated. It's way easier to just think lie on your back. And if you are the type of person who has his hand on his face all the time, then it's pretty simple, right? You just want to have good posture and don't touch your face. Just sit straight and think about your neck being correctly postured. So you're looking forward, not having your head tilted to one of the sides. This is actually a sign of bad neck strength, but yeah. But there's actually something else that we can do. Let's say that we have an asymmetrical jaw, so your jaw goes to one of the sides. There's literally an exercise that we can do to actually repair this mistake, you could say. And that is because we have something called our masseter muscles. Our masseter muscles is basically just our chewing muscles. So the muscles that you have right at the end here. And when we are asymmetrical, it's often because one of these muscles is bigger than the other one. So if you take a look at the screen right now, you can see on the left side there's me at 18 years old. And you can see that my jawline here is actually a bit uneven. You can see my jaw here goes a little bit to the left side. If I try to make like a completely straight line, okay, that was not so good, but you can clearly see, right, that I am not symmetrical, I am asymmetrical. You can clearly see my face goes a little bit to this side. And that is because my masseter muscle on this side was way bigger at this time than my right side. So that's why that, of course, the natural pressure was switching to this side. And you can see if we take a look at the right side, you can see that I've completely fixed this and I have now a straight look. I am more symmetrical than ever. So basically, and you can also see here that my jawline, look at the length, bro. It's way longer here than here. It only goes to like there. It's a pretty nice improvement. But basically what I just want you to do is when you're chewing food, you just want to really burn your muscle out. So you want to chew for longer. A lot of people that I see often just chew 5 to 6 times and then they swallow their food. You want to chew between 20 to 30 times, maybe even more. It depends on how burnt your masseter muscles are. When you feel like you have a burn out here, that's when you know that you're doing it correctly. And then as a last tip, you want to chew 70% on your weaker side and 30% on your strong side. So your weaker side will match your stronger one. In order for you to see which one is the weaker one, just simply take a selfie of yourself and then take a look at where your jawline switches. If it switches this way, then it's usually because this muscle is bigger. So there's actually a story that I want to tell you about this topic. So from a few years ago, I think it was back in 2024 or 2023, somebody actually introduced me to a certain filter that you can use on TikTok. And this certain filter was called inverted filter. So they literally take a video recording of me where they tap the screen so my face becomes the other way. So like it gets reversed, inverted. That's why it's called inverted filter. And she did this a couple of times, right? And the person was laughing their ass off. And I was like, what? It cannot be that bad, right? I saw the video and I got hunted for life, bro. My face went from this to like this, to this, to this. Like it was such a big difference all the time. So that's just proof to me that I was so asymmetrical. And from that day on, I literally got fucking black pill. I was like, fuck this shit, bro. Like, it's just genetics, But it's absolutely not. It's just because of our habits that we have been doing. And that is why we fucked up our face. And that's why that I really want you to go down into the comments and tell me your story. What have you been going through that maybe thought that it was your genetics that was the mistake, but which was actually some of your habits? So I would love to hear your story. Go down and tell me in which situation looks had a really important meaning to you. So now that we have almost covered all the mistakes, we need the last one, which is mistake number 3, which is having a wrong tongue posture. So if you take a look at the screen right now, you can clearly see on the middle and the left side picture, I had what is called a recessed looking jawline. This means that my mandible, my lower jaw basically, goes inwards instead of going forward like it actually should do, like it does on the right side. This is some of the bad traits that you literally are getting if you mouth breathe. Basically, you don't have the correct tongue posture. For some people, their nose also starts to go a little bit outwards here, so they have like a stump here. And that is also a sign that you just have a recessed looking jawline. And you just need to push the maxilla and your mandible forward, basically your upper jaw and your lower jaw forwards, in order for you to fix these things. So the way that you want to fix this is having a correct tongue posture. And the way that we have a correct tongue posture is by doing the following. So what you want to do is that you take the tongue and then you want to put it up against something called your hard palate. Your hard palate is the roof of your mouth right behind your teeth, like your front teeth. And when you try to put your tongue up against that part, try to feel that there is a little bit of a hole upwards in your roof of your mouth. And then if you try to go forward in that hole, you can kind of feel a resistance because there is a kind of a wall. So what you want to imagine is that your mouth looks like this. And what you want to do is that you want to press your tongue up against this part. And then when you press your tongue up against this part, you want to go forward afterwards. So it basically looks like this. That is how you're gonna mew correctly. So basically what I did at the end was that when I had my tongue up against and I was pushing forward, I simply just took my jaw and closed it. So I closed my mouth and then I just swallowed, because you want to swallow all the spit that you have. So this part doesn't hang out, so you kind of raise it up. That is literally how you should just have like your normal like tongue. That should be the posture of your tongue basically. But what we also can do for us to push forward our maxilla quicker is doing something called hard mewing. So hard mewing is where you do the exact same thing. You just try to apply as much pressure as possible upwards and forwards instead of just having the tongue there. And then a specific note that you can do is try to think about bringing your lower jaw here upwards, so you kind of resist them downwards. So your tongue goes upwards and you try to close your mouth so your palate goes downwards on your tongue, and then your lower jaw goes upwards so you kind of make more pressure up against it. But again, if you want me to teach you about all the Looksmaxxing stuff that there is out there, for example, how to get rid of acne, how to hair max, how to debloat your face properly, then I've put it all inside of one place, which is inside my program. And on the one-to-one calls, I can also review the specific exercises that you want to do for your face. I teach something that I call the 4 key facial muscles, and it's what took me from just an ugly guy to now having the same traits as models. And if you want me to teach you all about those muscles and help you exactly do the correct exercises, then I teach you all of that inside of my program. So if you're interested, then go have a look at the top link of the description. All the details are there. I truly believe that it's the best investment that you can do. Think about how much time and energy that you will just save by doing this. But now that we are at the end of this video, I really want to say a thank you for watching this far. Think about how much of a thing that you have improved today, because you chose to educate yourself instead of just going on TikTok and just scrolling, right? It's like, it's so powerful what you have done today, and I'm so proud of you for that. And that is exactly why that I know that this channel will be just for you. So if you want more Looksmaxxing advice for free, then just go down and click subscribe to my channel. And if you want to keep on learning right now, then go have a look at this video over here. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful day, bro. Mwah!